Hey everybody, how are y'all doing? It is Sunday at 7 o'clock. I am Seth Eisenberg. This is a Conservative Corner, so make sure you're in the right place. Again, I don't want you to have accidentally stumbled in here and be like, "Oh my God, what is this?" So make sure you're in the right place. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Snowed here the other day, actually, so that was kind of interesting. We haven't had snow here in a while. So it's cold, but it's cold again tonight, but it'll be like 90 degrees tomorrow, some crap like that, because it's Maryland. And Maryland doesn't have weather, it has malaria. So it is what it is. So I'm on time again. I'm proud of myself. This evening, I'm sorry, I'm finishing something up right here. This evening, my son might actually be in the crowd watching, so I'm going to try to temper my language this evening, because I don't want my son sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, my dad is insane." So I'm going to, a lot of gosh darn it's and fudge. So I'll be saying that a lot. No, I'm not having a stroke, and just trying to show my son that you can still get your point across and not have to drop the F-bomb. But it could slip out. So again, if you have kids that are in the room, as much as I like kids, I don't want them to hear that. So I'll apologize now. And we'll probably be talking about some adult stuff here, the adult topics like we usually do. So let's get right into it. I don't know if you all are familiar with what happened in Columbus, Ohio, earlier in the week, last weekend. Apparently there were Nazis marching down. I guess they have like an area that's like all restaurants and bars, and it's like a populated area. And they had people dressed in all black, carrying swastika flags, and they had face masks on with the red swastikas on them. And apparently they were marching by bars and restaurants during the day. So during the daytime, not at evening. So there were a lot of people out there to watch these jackasses do their thing. So people were taking pictures, like I was saying. Nobody confronted them on the videos and pictures I've seen. Nobody. They were all just content taking pictures. I guess it's easy to sit there and drink your latte and go, "Oh, look, Nazis, take pictures of them," rather than, stand up and go outside and go, what's your problem? What's your issue? This is BS. You shouldn't be doing this in public. You should be ashamed of yourself. People should have confronted them en masse. Just everybody should have gone and said something to them. But cowards like that thrive on cowardice. People who are afraid to say anything. And I'm saying people who just took pictures and did nothing are cowards. I can't imagine how you could just sit there and watch. In the picture I had, there's like 4 or 5 Nazi flags and like 10 people walking by the big like window in a restaurant, and nobody's going outside. And everybody's, "Well, it's their First Amendment right." And my First Amendment right is to give you the finger, call you an asshole, and give you a hard time. It goes both ways. I'm not saying you should go out there and stop them. Well, you probably should. They're Nazis. You should go out there and confront them and stop them from doing that. But at the very least, grow a set, go out and say something to them. And maybe if you're lucky, they'll hit you, and then they all go to jail. And it's a win-win situation. But just to sit there and take pictures of Nazis, literally Nazis, walking by with swastika flags, marching in like a group, and just taking pictures and thinking you're doing a good thing. Like, "Oh, I'm helping." You're not. You're not doing anything. So don't even take a picture. But yeah, it was in Columbus, Ohio. And it just burns my ass that people just, because let me put it this way. If those were people in Klan outfits marching down that street, everybody would have come out screaming and yelling at them. Everybody. There'd have been a riot. The police would have to been called to separate them. It would have gone insane. But it's just Nazis. And Jews are white people for the most part. So, really, no one's really getting hurt. It's not a big deal. I'll take my picture. I'll cover my mouth and say something like, "I'm going to kick their ass." And I'm not going to do anything about it. And I'll go back to talking to whoever I'm with, drinking my coffee, and I'll go on about my business. I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, is that truth? No, it's just how I feel. So I could be wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump up in your face like that. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. For what it's worth. So I don't know what's going on in Columbus, Ohio, but the Nazis were out there marching with their flags, and doing their Nazi things. I do not advocate violence. I want that perfectly clear. I'm not advocating violence, but I'm also not advocating sitting on your ass and doing nothing when you're confronted with evil. At that point, you need to make a decision on what you want to do. Then it's up to you. As long as you're confronting it, I definitely support you. It could be PETA. It could be PETA. Who knows? Because they're just as crazy as hell too. But yeah, again, I'm not condoning violence, but I'm also saying you need to do something. You need to confront it, and how that manifests in you is on you. But I support anybody who would confront that. If it was just words or whatever you do to confront evil, I support it. If more people did that, there'd be less jerks like these Nazis in the world. Or if they were, they'd be a lot more quiet. They wouldn't be out in everybody's face on a Saturday. I think it was like an afternoon when families are out. They wouldn't do that because they'd be afraid. And they should be afraid. People like that should be afraid. They should be afraid. Klans members should be afraid. BLM should be afraid. Nazis should be afraid. Whatever other racist group there is out there should be afraid to be seen in public. Yes, you're complicit. If you stand there and let these Nazis march by the window, like I said, and you're just taking pictures, ooh, I'm helping. Again, you're not doing anything. You've really done nothing. You're probably a beta male, and you probably haven't been with a woman in 20 years, so you don't know what it is to be a man. But yeah, please, we can't. We got to stop turning the blind eye to this. We can no longer afford to ignore this stuff. And I know everybody's saying, "Well, Trump's in office. This is going to end." This is not going to end because he's in office. Racists don't stop becoming racist because there's a new president. They don't care about who the president is. They're racist. They're not very intelligent to begin with. So whoever's in the White House doesn't affect them at all. So we need to take care of this as a society and not depend on the government. This is a societal issue that we need to address as the people of the society, and it needs to be addressed immediately, and it should be dealt with harshly. I mean, I can't dumb it down or play it any nicer than that. It should be dealt with harshly. These people should be, number one, they shouldn't be allowed to wear masks if you're holding that kind of stuff. You should have to show your face. If you're that proud to be a Nazi, why are you covering your face? Pull your mask off so we all can see you. Take your hood off. Let us see you. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn that the Klan used to wear hoods and covered their faces during marches. But I think that there was a law passed that they can't do that. And that's why when you see them in public, they don't have masks on. They have the pointy hat on their pointy little heads, but their faces are uncovered. And I think it was because of a law that was passed. I could be wrong. I'll have to look into that, but I could have sworn I read that somewhere at one point that they can't do that anymore legally. And if they can't, why should these goose-stepping mama's boys be able to do it? That's what I don't get. But yeah, that's if we're looking for a moral to this part of the show, it's stand up, push back against evil and racism and stupidity. And if enough of us push back enough times, these people will disappear or at least become afraid. And yes, there was an anti-Semite at the Maryland GOP convention yesterday. Probably, I think he was from Baltimore County, just spewing more anti. And it's at the Republican state convention. So that kind of sums up the Maryland Republicans when those kind of people feel comfortable speaking there. But he went on, you got to support Hamas. There's two sides to every story. Israel's not the baby or the victim here, blah, blah, blah. Just Baltimore City, just more anti-Semitism, BS spewed from his mouth. Just, because those people are, if nothing else, they're entertaining to a point. They're not very honest. But the problem is that this goes unchecked. It stops being entertaining and comical and becomes frightening and scary. If you don't believe me, if you don't think this can blow into something major, let me draw your attention to Germany in the 1940s. There you go. It all starts off small, and everybody wants to ignore it. Like, oh, they can say what they want to say. Don't pay attention to them. And then before you know it, people are getting gassed and executed and all sorts of things. So never assume one or two loudmouth racists can't start something that other people have to pay for, because they can. History has shown us that it does happen. And if nothing else, history will repeat itself if we're not careful. So yeah, they're out there. And on the anti-Trump people are crazy. Let's just put that out there. I want to get into that right now. Anti-Trump people are insane. They really are. Trump derangement syndrome, I believe, is probably going to become like a legitimate medical diagnosis. I firmly believe that. I mean, you got women cutting their hair off because Trump won. There are women, and I'll get into this in a minute, that are boycotting Thanksgiving with family members who voted for Trump. Then there's the 4B movement, no sex, no marriage, no dating, no children, something like that with people who supported Trump. You've got these women on Facebook, and I use the term woman loosely. I mean, the lady I saw that I'm about to talk about literally looked like Jerome Bettis in a skirt, just an ugly, ugly woman. Was on Facebook saying, we're going to come seduce your husbands if they voted for Trump to ruin your marriage. All sorts of things. I mean, and if we flip it, when Biden won, I don't remember seeing any conservative Republican women doing this. I don't remember any Republican men going insane and, screaming and yelling and wishing death on Biden or anything like that. And people want to say that the right are crazy, that we're insane. We're lunatics. We're fringe lunatics. We're nuts. Look at what we're doing. We want to do X, Y, and Z, but we're not wishing death on anyone. We're not out there disrupting families simply because our candidate lost. Were we upset? Hell yes, we were upset. Very upset. But what did we do? We put on our big boy pants and big girl pants and went back to work the next day and did what we had to do to take care of our families. Yeah, we grumbled. We complained. We griped. But that was it. Life has to go on. Life has got to go on. Whether or not your candidate wins or loses, you have to continue living. It's that simple. I don't understand the thought process of these women. Where do they wake up and go, Trump won? I'm just going to cut off all my hair and I'm not going to sleep with my husband again because that'll show Trump. That'll teach him. I don't get it. And then, I'm using the term men and male loosely, but there are liberal men who support this. Number one, they support it because they don't like women anyway. So it doesn't matter if these women are having sex with them or not because they don't care. They're not into women. I don't think they're even into men. I don't think they're into anything. What is it, androgynous now or something like that? Asexual, whatever. So they're supporting this. And nobody can see the insanity in this. Really. Where is it here? I have it I have notes. I'm just not looking down at the floor because I'm bored. I literally have notes. Where we go? I got a lot of notes. Here we go. Multiple women have said that they are boycotting Thanksgiving with their families in the aftermath of a Donald Trump election's victory. Trump won a second term in the White House by securing the popular vote, but the majority of women voted for Democrat opponent Kamala Harris. 53% of women voted for Harris compared to 45% for Trump. So because your candidate lost, you're just going to destroy everybody else's happiness? I mean, number one, these people who aren't going to these Thanksgiving dinners, I'm sure no one's going to miss them because they're probably miserable individuals to begin with that nobody wants to be around and probably ruin Thanksgiving anyway. So they're probably all breathing a collective sigh of relief. Oh, geez, Janice isn't coming to Thanksgiving this year. Thank God. That lady is a bore and unsufferable. I'm so happy she's not coming, but we got to pretend like we're hurt or she might come to prove a point. I mean, really, I doubt these people are going to be missed. And the woman, I'm not having sex. I'm not going to date because Trump won. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. And I doubt any of these men that have seen these pictures of these women are going to lose any sleep over that. I don't get how hurting yourself or doing something to yourself or your family is going to do anything to anybody other than yourself and your family. I don't care what you do. It doesn't affect me. Anybody who voted for Trump, it's not going to affect them at all. Whether you have sex or not, or you cut your hair off, or you don't go to Thanksgiving dinner, you shove a turkey leg up your butt. It doesn't affect us. We don't care. It'll affect you. It'll affect your immediate family. And that's it. So I don't understand the purpose behind doing some of the crap these people are doing. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, it's like a vegan saying they're not going to eat steak. Like we didn't realize you weren't going to support Trump. Wow, that's shocking. Let me clutch my pearls. I thought you were going to be on board with everything. It's not a surprise to us. And by us, I mean anybody with an IQ over 10 figured this was coming down the pike. None of this is shocking to us. But to these women, they think they've like discovered gravity or something. Like, oh, we're going to change the world. We're going to shake the very foundation of this country. And they're going to learn that, Trump's a fascist and we're not going to support. I don't care. And on behalf of all single white men and black men and Spanish men, men of all creeds and colors in the United States of America who are Republican and conservative, from the bottom of my heart to all you liberal women who've cut your hair and promised not to have sex for 4 years, we thank you. Thank you very much. We would like you to extend it maybe 10, 15 more years if you could. Any help we can give you to help you do that, just ask. We're going to do it for you. But thank you. We appreciate it. And we're here for you if you need some encouragement to continue withholding sex from us. It sounds stupider when I say it out loud than it does when I'm just thinking it. So yeah, if your Aunt Nancy or Aunt Jeannie doesn't come to Thanksgiving this Thursday, there's a good chance she's at home cutting her hair off and swearing off sex for 4 years because Trump won. And I'm sure you're probably not going to miss her anyway. She's probably the one that eats all the devil eggs and doesn't leave any for anybody else and then chews with her mouth open at the table. She's probably that person. You're not going to miss her anyway. So, yeah, I mean, Trump derangement syndrome, like I said, I promise is going to become a legit medical diagnosis within the next 6 years. It's going to be. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the best. I agree with it. That's like a vegan saying they're not going to eat steak. They're upset. Oh, wow, I'm just going to stop eating steak. Oh, we knew that. We knew you were going to be upset. We just didn't know to what extent you were going to carry this. And personally, I like it because now I know who all the idiots are. You can't hide anymore. Now I know who you are and who the hell I got to stay away from. So thank you. We're not going to miss you at all. And you got the ones saying, wishing death on them. Like I said earlier, I can't imagine being so mentally deficient or just plain old fashioned stupid that if someone you've never met, will never meet you, has never done anything personally for you, that you've seen on TV and heard speak on TV, loses an election, that you lose your shit so much that you're wishing for death and you're doing all these other things. Why? I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. I want somebody who is a liberal and supported Harris to come on the podcast. I'll put you on. We can talk live. I have questions. I have legitimate questions, as I'm sure you guys do too. Like, why? Why do you act like this? What does it do for you? Does it give you some sort of thrill? Does it make you feel better? Is it like a release? What exactly is doing stuff to yourself? How do you think that affects anybody else? What is the outcome? What is the goal? What is the thought process behind it? I legitimately want to know. And if someone comes on, I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not going to ask you got you questions. I'm going to probably let you do most of the talking because I want to hear what you have to say. I am legitimately interested in talking to somebody like that. I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know what they're thinking. If you're, something. Let's go back to Jerome Bettis' address. Dude, I'm telling you, the woman I saw on Facebook talking about, I'm going to come seduce your husband if you voted for Trump and ruin your marriage. I was waiting for her to put on the number 36 jersey and bust out a 25-yarder for a touchdown. She was, and I'm not saying Jerome Bettis is a bad-looking man. He's a good-looking man, but will make an ugly woman. So that's why I meant by Jerome Bettis. It was frightening. It's a thing of nightmares. So yeah. So please, if you know somebody who's a liberal, tell them I'm honest. I'm not going to try to embarrass them. I just want to know. I would like to know why. I got to know. Not that anything they're going to say is probably going to make sense to me or will make sense to you, but at least I'll have a better understanding of the thought process and what's behind it. Yeah, 3 minutes. That's being very gracious. I'm thinking more like 30 seconds because they probably just scream at me and give me the finger and call me a fascist and a homophobe, smear feces on their face, and then go. So probably a minute. But yeah, if someone wants to come on, I'm very interested. It's killing me. I would like to know. So if you know, I don't know if any of you would know anybody like that. I doubt it. But if you do, please give them tell them to contact me. Seriously. Another sign of insanity is this Georgia woman was charged and arrested, I believe, after her son walks home alone from school less than a mile away. So within a mile, he was walking home. The mom was home. Police picked up the child. But 10-year-old, because it wasn't like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old wandering. It was a 10-year-old walking home less than a mile from the house. Police picked up the child, went to the house, and arrested the mother. And she's been charged with child endangerment or something like that. And that's a legit story. That's not something I'm making up. That happened in Georgia. When I was 10, I used to bike to Mount Airy, and there was a little restaurant called the Old Town Restaurant. And I would bike there from my house about 3-4 miles away with $5, because back then you could get a lot with $5. I would get a hamburger, french fries, and a milkshake. And then I would bike home all by myself 2 or 3 times. I do it like 4 or 5 times over the summer because I would get bored and I would just ride my bike out there. I guarantee you if I did that nowadays, they would probably send a SWAT team to my house, sick the dogs on my mom, and like drag her out hogtied and lock her away on Devil's Island. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's ridiculous. Do I think a 10-year-old walking home less than a mile away from home is okay? Yes, I do. I do. Yes. Near the beautiful Mount Airy. Yes, you are correct. Right downtown. I use the term downtown in Mount Airy very loosely. It's like 300 yards of some buildings. Back then, it's a little different now. But yes, it was downtown Mount Airy. But yeah, I see no problem with the 10-year-old doing that. I really don't expect. And I think in the article, the mother said the area they live in is not very heavily populated. The road is not heavily traveled. It's safe. And she said if it wasn't safe, I'd have picked them up. But she's been arrested. They're going to fine her and stuff like that. I think she's going to go to court and fight it. And I hope she does. And I'd like to talk to her if anybody knows her. That'd be awesome. I'd really like to talk to her because back in the day, that's how parents were. And yes, times are different. There's crazier people out now. I mean, everybody's got one of these. So they're filming people. Well, it's my First Amendment right, filming kids and people. I understand. It's a little different, but it's less than a mile from home. And it's a 10-year-old, so he knows stranger danger. And they arrested him. I remember when I was 10 or 11, my parents would go out on date night and leave me and my brother here. I'd watch my brother, and he was 7. I don't understand what's going on nowadays. I mean, and I'm sure the people that are behind this are liberal. I guarantee you the people behind the prosecution of this woman are not Republican, are not conservative. They are liberal lunatics that think no child is safe until they're like 50, and then they can do things on their own. I guarantee it. I can almost promise you there's some liberal in this woodpile that's pushing this on this woman. And I hope she does fight it, and I hope she does win. And I hope her son realizes there's nothing wrong with what you did, kid. Your mom didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. Live your life. Really, just enjoy being a kid. Don't let these liberals ruin it for you. Because they will if you let them. Because like I said, the ones that are not going to the Thanksgiving dinner, they're all miserable people. They're miserable, nasty, lonely little people who thrive on drama and causing issues. That's who they are. They're not good people. They're insane. So I got to take a break. I feel a stroke coming on. So let me pay the bills real quick and we'll be right back.
Do you have old home videotapes that you're no longer able to watch? Need them transferred to DVD, Blu-ray, or your smart device? Baltimore Digital offers professional-grade VHS, mini DV, and high 8 digitizing services. We can also convert Super 8mm film too. Baltimore Digital also provides photo restoration services. Visit archive.baltimoredigital.net. Mention code Alexandra for a 10% introductory discount.
So that's a local company out of Baltimore. They're a good friend of Alexandra 360. So if you decide to use them, make sure you mention her name and get the discount. They do very good work. I'm sure that they're very professional, or Alexandra would have nothing to do with him. So if she says he's good, that's good enough for me. And I do have some things I probably should transfer. I've got pictures I like to, preserve. I've got stuff from my mom when she passed away that she wrote a letter, and I'd like to make sure that's safe. Things like that. But yeah, give him a call if you've got things you need to take care of. He'll take care of them for you. Back to the psycho liberals that want to cut their hair off. These people have almost made victimhood like a profession. Like they've got it down to an art where it's almost like a job for them at this point. And I blame us for that. The collective us, not specifically people who are watching this, the nation. We've allowed this to happen. We've allowed these sniveling, snot-nosed little babies airtime, if you want to say it. We've given them a stage to cry and whine about all the evils that have been done to them and how everyone else is responsible. We owe them something and we need to help them. And it's just so rough. And I need help, and you have to help me pay for all my bills. We've allowed this to happen. At some point, hopefully in the near future, I hope more of us rise up and tell these people to shut up. No, we're not responsible for your life. We're not responsible for the shortcomings in your life. You are. You have control over that. We don't. Stop whining and crying about it. I wanted to be the starting middle linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but guess what? Life didn't work out that way. But I'm not here blaming everybody else for that. I moved on. And these people, these victims have to do that too. I'm sick of hearing about it. It's never ending. Never ending. And I understand it's all by design. I understand that. I understand that these people there's an angle they're working for liberals. It's not an organic movement. They've been coached. They know what to say. They know all the buzzwords. I understand that, but it has to stop. And it's not going to stop on its own, so we have to stop it. We need to stop listening to these insane people with their insane ideas doing insane things. We need to stop paying attention to them. They need to be ignored and told, we're ignoring you now because you're crazy. You need help. And until you get help, you got nothing to say I want to hear. I'm done. If you want to cut your hair off, cut your hair off. If you want to whack off your junk, whack it off. You do what you got to do. I don't care anymore. But don't come crying to me when you realize everything you've done is completely ridiculous and has done more harm to you than you ever thought it would. Now, that kind of ends when it involves children. I'm not talking about people doing this to children. I'm talking about people doing this to themselves. If you're an adult, you're over 18, and you want to do all this stuff, you go right ahead and do it, because from now on, I'm not paying attention to you anymore. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to acknowledge anything you're saying. And if I do, it'll be because I'm laughing at you with my other friends, and we're going, what a moron. That dude is a schmuck. I'm not going to take you seriously anymore. And any politician or public figure that supports these crying, whiny, snot-nosed little idiots, I'm going to laugh at you too. I'm going to make you the butt of every joke I can think of. And I hope everybody starts doing that too. Now, people might say, well, Seth, that's pretty wrong. These people have legitimate issues and we should be trying to help them. No, I'm an adult. I got my own life. They're an adult. They got their own life. That's how they want to live it. That's how they can live it. I'm not interfering with it. And I don't care. As long as what they do doesn't affect me, mine, or people I know, I don't care anymore. I don't feel sorry for you. I have no more empathy for you. My give a damn well is empty. I've heard it all for the last 4 years about how rough life is for everybody and how it is my responsibility and your responsibility to pay for them or to hold their hand and tell them how special they are. Sorry, you ain't special. There's nothing about you that's any different than anybody else. You are no different. And that's what aggravates you. You're not a standout. You're not a superstar. So you're going to do whatever you can to draw attention to yourself, try to make yourself feel better and more important than people around you. And apparently being a victim, not apparently, obviously being a victim for the last 4 or 5 years has worked out because people pay attention to them. They feel sorry for them. They get on talk shows. They become influencers on TikTok with millions of followers. That's what has to stop. We need to stop making stupid people famous in this country. And that's going to take a lot of doing because there's a lot of stupid people who gravitate to other stupid people and make them famous. So yeah, the victim shit's got to stop. We got to be done with it. I mean, grab a helmet and get in the game or don't. I wash my hands. Yeah, I don't want to hear it anymore. Don't care. Sorry about it. Sorry to hear about your luck. Sucks to suck. And I know a lot of people are going, well, as soon as Trump gets in office, but we shouldn't have to wait for Trump to get in office. This is stuff we can do for ourselves. This is stuff we should have been doing. I mean, that's half the problem with the Republican Party or the rhinos, because those are the people that want to compromise it and play into this victims crap, into this Trump derangement syndrome crap. They play into it. That's why we are the way we are in this country, because of people like that. So let's not, and don't get me wrong, Trump's going to change a lot of things when he gets, or let me rephrase that. Like I said, he's going to lay the foundation and start the work to get things going in the direction they need to get in. He's going to do that. But we don't need to wait for him to start. We can do that now. And like I said, we should have been doing this forever. We should have never stopped being a nation of people that believe in a hand up and will help people, but stop at a handout, because then it becomes expected. And these people who play victim, these people with Trump derangement syndrome, think everything is owed to them because Trump's a fascist. They didn't vote for him, so he's not my president. Same things people who were saying this about Biden, these people were attacking and bashing them. But now, since it's the shoes on their foot, now it's okay to say the same things they attacked us for. But it's okay because they're saying it because Trump really is a fascist and he's really not their president. That's why I'm saying these people are mentally ill. And that's why I got no time for them anymore. I don't. And that may be heartless. It may sound mean. It may sound cruel, but I don't care. I got my own life. I got my own family. I got my own friends. I got people that I legitimately care about, want to make sure they're good. And if you're not in that circle, to hell with you. I mean, really. And I hope you're all the same way. You've got your family. You've got your friends. You've got your people. And that's who you're concerned about. And when you get these people, these professional victims, you shouldn't give a rat's butt about them. You should just, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, your life's rough. We should pay for your college, whatever. And you just keep walking. Don't even pay them mind anymore. Let them go. It's the problems we have in this country are self-inflicted. We've allowed it to happen because we've wanted, and I say we, I don't mean we. You all know I mean the collective we. We've allowed this to happen because we wanted to compromise. We wanted to be the good guys. We want to get along. We want everybody to like us. We want people to be happy. So screw your own integrity. Screw, honor and honesty. Let them have their way. It's okay because, they're going to stop after a while. They'll get bored and be done with this and move on. That didn't work out that way. So most of these problems we have in this country are because of us. And I hope, like I said, we can, as a nation, now knowing that we're heading in the right direction, can start to correct some of these issues that we've allowed to fester for as long as we've allowed them, and put an end to it and be done with it. Close the chapter on that and start a new one where the adults are in charge and not these professional victims or the ones that aren't going to Thanksgiving dinner because Trump won. And if you supported Trump, you're not my family. You know what? If you're that shallow, that because Harris didn't win, you don't want anything to do with your family anymore, you're an idiot. You really, really are an idiot. And like I said, my son might be watching this, and there's something stronger I can say, but I'm not going to say it because my son watches. I don't want to see me screaming and yelling. So that's how you feel because Trump won and your candidate lost. You want nothing to do with your family. You're an idiot, and your family's better off without you around. So go move to a commune, or better, just go move to a major city that's run by Democrats, because all you can stand around and scream and yell about Trump together in the unemployment line or wherever it is you people would hang out together and complain. I don't know. But yeah, your family's probably better off without you. I mean, really, you're not going to go to Thanksgiving dinner and spend time with family because one of them voted for a candidate you didn't like? Really, politics are that important to you? Yeah. Someone needs to up your meds. Or you need to spend another 15, 20 minutes on the couch next time because you've got some issues, probably daddy issues, and you got to address them because he ain't getting better on their own. Speaking of Trump derangement syndrome and just complete crazy ass people. Jesse Smollett, y'all remember him, right? The guy said he was attacked in downtown Chicago by MAGA people. They had hats on and put a noose on his neck or some crap like that. And it came to find out that it was all BS and he was making it up. Well, that jackass is back in the news. So he's announcing that he's joining his good friend Don Lemon, another flaming asshole. And I'm sorry, son, if you're watching, I had to say that. Another flaming idiot. They're together and they're going to leave X. They're leaving X, formerly known as Twitter or whatever they call it. He claims that X has become a platform of lies. Yeah. The guy who lied about the attack is now accusing someone else of lying, of racism and hoax. Hello, Pot. My name is Kettle. I mean, under Elon Musk. So Don Lemon and Jesse Smollett are leaving X. They're done with X. It's nothing but lies and racism and made up stuff. When I read that, I laughed. Like literally, I laughed out loud because I'm like, didn't this guy lie, was racist, and made up a hoax? So I guess he'd be the expert on those three things. I mean, he would definitely know if those were going on because he himself has done all of those, been involved with lies and racism. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to miss them. If they need help packing, I'll help them pack. And then you got, just another stellar human being. I mean, I don't know how, after you hear about this, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to, remain calm. There could be mass suicides and people throwing themselves out of the buildings and stepping in front of oncoming traffic. Ellen DeGeneres has moved to Great Britain and she's never coming back. Never coming back to the U.S. She's done with it because Trump won. She's gone. I know. I'm going to give you a second to collect yourselves. I'm sure that was like heartbreaking. I don't know how I'm going to go on knowing that. It's rough. It's really rough. She was just a great person, just all around good person. And you know what's funny is these people think we care. She legitimately thinks we care. I mean, I'm sure there's idiots out there that live for, celebrities. They're all into it. If a celebrity says it or does it, they're going to do it and they're going to say it too because they have no lives and they're mentally stunted. So I'm sure there's a small segment of society that actually cared and probably cried and maybe even wrote a letter to her telling her how they're going to miss her and that she hopes she stays well and does good in Great Britain. But the other 99.9% of us in this country don't give a damn. Even if I liked you as an actress or a talk show host or a musician or an athlete and you left the country, I don't care. I think you're an idiot for leaving because you don't like the president. It's better over there? Really? Okay, well, cool. Have fun. But don't come back. Because if you say you're never coming back and you come back, I'm going to have a field day. I mean, really. Exactly. You don't have to tell anybody you're leaving. Just pack your stuff and go. We'll know you're not here after all. Like, hey, where's that Ellen DeGeneres chick? The one that looked like a dude. Where'd she? Oh, she left 6 months ago. Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, I got to go clean the lint trap out of my dryer now. That's more important than these people leaving. You can't make this stuff up. I couldn't if I tried. If I could make stuff up like this, I would be writing movie scripts. I would be a millionaire. A millionaire. You'd be watching me on the big screen. She's leaving. and never coming back. Oh, be still my beating heart. However shall I live? Yeah, she's not coming back, and guess what? The sun still rose this morning. I guess God hasn't learned about her leaving yet. I'm sure that it'll be horrible when, Yeah, don't discuss it. Don't make a big announcement. Don't make some big deal. If you're going to leave, just leave. There's the door. You're not required to stay here. But I'm also willing to bet you she didn't renounce her citizenship, so she's going to come back. All these people who are leaving the country, they didn't renounce their citizenship. So they're still citizens of this country, and they're going to come back. This is all done for show. Just so people go, oh, they really stood by it. The liberals will be impressed by this. The pinhead liberals will be, oh, look, they're really that. They were honest. They're leaving the country. They don't like Trump. God, I love them. Simple minds are amused and impressed by simple things. And this is a very simple thing. And again, this could be some actor that I like that'd be saying the same thing. I mean, I'm going to take my toys and go. Well, go. Doesn't affect me. And I don't know if you all heard about this early this week, kind of switching gears. The man accused of killing Laken Riley, she was a 22-year-old nursing student at the University of Georgia. In February, was found guilty of murder on Wednesday. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Jose Antonio Barra, 26, is a Venezuelan citizen who crossed the U.S.-Mexico border illegally in 2022. He was released by border officials while his immigration case was awaiting review, and he was arrested a couple other times in other states before he took the life of this young lady. I'm trying to, again, temper what I want to say here. I don't think he should have got life in prison. I think they should have just dragged him out behind the courthouse and parked a bullet in the back of his head and threw him in a dumpster and been done with it. And that goes for anybody who would do what this animal did to another human being. It wasn't just like he shot her and took her stuff. He raped her and beat her head in, bashed her skull in with a rock, just did some horrible, inhuman things to another human being. And I don't care who it is, they should have put a bullet in his head and been done with him. Literally left him in a gutter. Let the animals feed off of him for a while. I don't get how anybody, and people will say, well, we have criminals in this country anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. It matters a whole hell of a lot to me. Because if this animal hadn't come into the country, she would still be alive. It wasn't an American citizen that killed her. It was an illegal alien, an animal from some third world shithole who doesn't know how to act in a civilized society, did what he did to this young lady and gets to live the remainder of his days on my dime and your dime. I don't like that. I can't get my head around that. I mean, she was 22 years old. I literally, and I'm not kidding, I literally have coats. My pea coat from the Navy is older than she was. I got shoes in there that are older than that. And I'm supposed to consider this justice served? He gets to live, get fed, exercise, get educated on my dime, watch cable and all that for free? I'm supposed to be okay with that? I'm not. I am truly not okay with that. And I blame her death and every other person that's been killed by the illegal alien on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and that whole administration. They played politics with the border, and we paid for it. Laken Riley paid for it, paid the ultimate price, and other people, too numerous to name, have fallen victim to illegal immigrants, aliens, not immigrants. And I'm supposed to be okay with that. He got found guilty. He's going to be in prison the rest of his life. Justice was served. No, justice was not served. Make no mistake about it. That is not justice. That is far from justice. That's laughing at justice. If it were truly justice, he would have been executed immediately, and be moving on, and he would not even be a footnote in history. He would be nothing to discuss anymore if justice were served. It's upsetting to me. It's upsetting when anybody is murdered. But a 22-year-old woman who just wasn't murdered, I'm telling you. I mean, look at the reports. She was basically decapitated. He bashed her skull in with a rock. You understand that if you get hit head with a rock, you don't die instantly. It's not like lights out, you're done. No. It doesn't happen like in the movies. It takes some effort. It takes some time. It takes some power. It's repetitive over and over and over. So she was conscious probably for the first 5 or 6 hits after being raped and beaten. I mean, anybody who tells me justice was served with this guy, you're not going to convince me of that. You're not. You're not. And I can't imagine what her parents are. I don't know if her parents are happy about the guy going to prison. I don't know. And if they weren't happy, I would completely understand it. And if they were, I don't want to say the word happy. If they were satisfied with the punishment, I would be okay with it if they were satisfied. Because it's not about me. It's not about you. It's what they need. And if this is what they can, if they consider this justice and they are satisfied with the outcome, then I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. Because like I said, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about them. And then the mayor of Frederick City had a press conference the other day. This guy's a jackass. I mean, really. I don't know how he stands up straight because I can guarantee you his spine is made of jelly. If he even has a spine. I'm sure his feet were hurting him after the press conference because his high heels were probably hurting his ankles. But he had a press conference where he said, hey, we're not going to let Trump break up families in Frederick City. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to make sure our residents are safe. Number one, jackass, if they're here illegally, they're not a resident. I know that's probably hard for you to grasp. That eludes you because you're probably not a smart person to begin with. But they are not a resident. And I'm trying to look up the article. I thought I saved it, but I didn't. But they are not a resident of your city. Only an idiot would have said that. I'm looking for the article, but yeah, he had a big press conference talking about that. I don't know how these people think. I really don't. Like I said, I want someone on these to come on here so I can talk to them and try to learn how they think. And his name is Michael O'Connor. Just really, if you look up the word beta male in the dictionary, his grinning face is going to be right next to for the definition. Here's the article. It's Frederick Mayor reassures citizens regarding another Trump presidency. He vowed to protect local immigrants. If they're here legally and they've done the proper thing and gone through the proper channels, they don't need to be protected, idiot. Really, they don't. You jackass. Let's look for some of the highlights of his speech. I don't want anybody to be in fear, said Mayor O'Connor. But at the same time, if you made a decision to come to this country, oh no, this is someone who's supporting it. If you can't make a decision to come to this country illegally, that should be an issue for you. Completely agree. And that's from Mayor Jeff Holtzinger, who said that, if you're here illegally, you should be kicked out. President-elect Trump has said he will round up immigrants who are here illegally and have committed crimes. For local immigrants who are concerned, the mayor had a message. The Frederick City Police Department, in particular, is committed to assuring all residents feel safe in reporting crime and know they will not be questioned about their immigration status. We refuse to aid and abet outside agencies attempting to detain, deport, or remove residents from our county. That's what this moron said. They are not residents if they're here illegally. They're squatters. At best, they're squatters. So he's more concerned with illegal immigrants than he is about citizens. And he can tell you all day. If you're watching this and you're in Frederick, let me let you know a little secret. He can't tell the federal government no. You can't. If they want to come in and enforce federal law, you have to allow it. You can't tell them no. And if you do tell them no, all they're going to do is cut off your funding to law enforcement and all the other money the federal government gives you for helping the city run. And in about a month, when shit's falling apart, you're going to beg them to come do what they want to do. And if they're smart, they'll tell you no and let you sit in there for a year. So when the next election comes up, they vote your dumb ass out and they get somebody with an IQ above a sixth grader in to run the city who understands the law and how it works, because obviously you don't. I'm so tired of hearing how it's immoral and illegal to enforce laws in this country. It's racist to enforce the laws in this country. Enforcing the border laws is racist. Only racists would want to do that. Name me one country in the world that doesn't enforce its borders. Name me one country in the world that allows you to come in undocumented. Name me one country that does that. One, just one. You can't, because no country in the world does that. And if you do, it's called visiting. And you got to be out in 3 months. Can't hang out. I went to Austria a few years ago. And if you overstay your visit, I think it's like 3 or 4 months, they come find you. They look for you. And if they find you, there's no court. They put you on a plane and send you home that day. Most countries do that. And nobody cries about it. But when it happens here, then it's illegal or it's racist. You can't do it. You're breaking up families. And it's not right. We're a loving and open-armed country. Yes, we are. We are. And we allow anyone to come to this country, unfortunately. Some people we shouldn't allow in. People that have no skills or are not educated and just want to come leech off the system, we shouldn't welcome them, but we do. All you got to do is fill out the paperwork and then wait. That's all you got to do. Is it a pain in the butt? Yes, I'm sure it is. Is it a bunch of red tape? Yes, and it should be. But anybody can come. You just got to follow the procedure. It's that simple. It's not immoral or racist to want to enforce our borders. And I'm sick of hearing, and the big argument, like I just said, is, well, you're breaking families up when you do that. If I'm in the car with my son and we go to a store and I shoplift, whatever I do, I shoplift something, they're going to arrest me and separate me from my son. And that's how it happens thousands of times a day, every day. People are separated from their families for doing wrong. Why is that okay for that, but not for that crime? You know, this crime, okay, this crime, no. And yeah, I understand they're trying to better their lives. No one is saying they're not, but there's still a process you got to follow. And more to the point, how long have we been talking about illegal immigration? 10, 15 years? And I'm being conservative. 10, 15 years, we'll call it 20. We'll call it 20 years. None of them have made any steps to become legal citizens in that 20 years. So I got no sympathy for you. You've had plenty of time to apply and do what you got to do it right, to be in this country with no issue. And you've chosen not to do that. I don't feel sorry for you now. And there are groups and programs and thousands of things out there that will help you get the process started and help you through it. You've made a decision not to. So yes, you need to go, because obviously you're too stupid and too lazy to do it right. And we got enough of those people in this country organically that are citizens. We don't want to start importing some in. We don't need an import. You got to go. And this mayor from Frederick City, that jackass Michael O'Connor, shut up. Really, shut up. The only good thing that's come of this, they did a poll based on his speech, and 58% of the people who were polled disagreed with him. So my point is, maybe we should let people like him talk, because apparently he's talking himself out of a job. So maybe we'll let him continue to run his mouth. Because maybe the people in Frederick City have finally figured out, hey, we want to help you, but you got to want to help yourself. And obviously in the 20 years you haven't, so it's time for you to go. You know, go back out and come in and do it the right way. We're not asking for too much. We truly, truly are not. And we're not asking something that no other country is asking for. I don't know. I just, it just seems that as we get closer to the inauguration, things are going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. And the liberals are going to do whatever they can to make it exponentially more difficult for President Trump when he gets in. So they're going to cause as much problems and hassles as they can. Like I said, there's already attorney generals from states lining up lawsuits to sue the Trump administration if they try to deport people. What are they actually, who are they defending? They're not American citizens they're defending. So what are they defending? The right for someone to break the law? Because if that's the case, I'm just going to go on like a shoplifting spree and go robbing banks. And then, hey, you're going to defend me? You're going to sue the government? They try to arrest me? Or is only the ones that, you like that you're going to defend and trying to get the laws changed? I don't know. Like I said, we don't have to wait for President Trump to start changing things. We can do that ourselves. This mayor in Frederick, Mayor Michael O'Connor, send him an email. Let him know how much of a jackass he is. Let him know how little bit about the law he actually knows when he says, we don't have to listen to the federal government. We can do what we want to do. Sure. And you're going to lose all the federal funding you got. They're going to take away the accreditation of your police department because that's federally granted. If they say they can't enforce the law, guess what? You got no police department anymore. None. And they can't even write a parking ticket at that point. So you keep playing around, act like you're some legal scholar and find out what happens. What is it? Mess around and find out. Again, my son might be here, so I can't say it, but mess around and find out. So yeah, Mayor Michael O'Connor in Frederick City, Maryland. Just a douchebag, an uneducated douchebag who's just pandering for votes. Let's be honest. I think deep down inside, he knows he can't do anything about it. But if he puts up a good front, the other idiot libs in the city will vote for him again when he's up for re-election. This is the same jackass who paid $45,000 for a city logo written by a company from another state. That just sums up the guy right there. Not a very intelligent person. And I can almost guarantee you there was no IQ test required to run for mayor of the city. And there probably should have been. So on that note, my opinion on things as I see them tonight is about the anti-Trumpers. Since we kind of talked about that a little bit, I decided that's who I wanted to talk about with my opinion this evening. And I hope, again, it's my opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't have to listen to it. You can laugh at me. You can tell me to pound sand or kick rocks. It's up to you. Anti-Trumpers have lost their mind. Today, we're diving into a topic that's impossible to ignore. The unrelenting obsession that anti-Trumpers have with the man who reshaped modern conservatism. Now, it's one thing to disagree with someone's policies or personalities, but what we've witnessed from the anti-Trump crowd over the years borders on hysteria. I don't think it borders. I think it is hysteria. It's no longer just about opposing his administration or his rhetoric. It's about opposing the idea of Donald Trump at any cost. Logic and reason can be damned. For example, look at the unending stream of investigations and indictments, many of which feel less like genuine efforts to uphold the law and more like political theater. The message is clear. If you stand against the DC establishment, you will pay the price. Whether you're a MAGA voter or simply someone who believes in fair treatment under the law, it's hard not to see the double standard. What's truly baffling is how far these anti-Trumpers are willing to go to discredit not only Trump, but also his supporters. They label everyday Americans, hardworking, patriotic citizens as deplorables, threats to democracy, or even worse. Is it any wonder so many Americans are disillusioned with the political class? And then there's the media. Instead of covering real issues like inflation, the border crisis, or international instability, they'd rather hyperventilate over Trump's latest rally or a truth he posted online, as if they've forgotten their job is to inform and not to influence. But here's the kicker. While they're obsessing over Trump, his movement continues to grow. Why? Because he speaks to issues that matter. Secure borders, fair trade, American energy independence, and standing up to global elites. While his critics are busy losing their minds, his supporters are rallying behind a message of America first. The anti-Trump frenzy isn't just about Trump. It's about silencing the voices of millions and millions and millions who feel ignored by the political elite. It's about rejecting the notion that someone outside the establishment could dare challenge their grip on power. So, to all you anti-Trumpers out there, maybe it's time to take a step back and ask yourself why Trump resonates so deeply with so many Americans. Because the more you try to shut him down, the more his movement gains strength. And to my listeners, stay strong, stay informed, and remember, this fight isn't about just one man. It's about the principles that define us as a nation. Keep the faith, and let's keep America strong. Again, that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. You don't have to subscribe to it. You don't have to agree with it. But I shared it anyway. And you can't stop me. Well, it's about that time. So I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Again, it's awesome that you choose to spend an hour of your time with me. Thank you is not enough, but that's all I can give you. So thank you. If you ever by chance bump into me in public and say, hey, I listen to your podcast, I will buy you a beer, a coffee, a Coke, or shake your hand. But thank you. It's very humbling that you take time out of your life to sit here and listen to me talk. And there's also a young lady in New Jersey. I talked with Damon from Jersey Shore, and he told me that she listens to this podcast religiously, and she likes that I am not bashful in what I have to say, and I say what I got to say. That's awesome. That's awesome. If that's the only person that ever thinks that what I say is good and they agree with it, that's plenty. One is great, and I thank her for that. She's in New Jersey. Next time, if you're watching this later, next podcast you're on, definitely say hey, and I will point you out to everybody and go, that is a smart person. Be just like her. But thank you. And again, on the Patriots Prayer Network, you have a lot of shows, a lot of people. Again, we're not trying to influence your thoughts. We're just giving you information so you're better informed when you do make a decision on anything. You've got Alexander 360, the Based Mother, Jersey Shore, and that's SURE. Two guys, one coup. There's just so many, and I forget people's shows, and it's not on purpose. There's just so many. It's hard to get them in my mind and get them out. And also, I'm old and I forget stuff, and I've been drinking coffee, so I'm kind of jittery and I'm kind of jumpy. And I got to go to work tomorrow, and that's a whole other story. I just need to hit lotto or find me a sugar mama that'll take care of me, because I am a good-looking dude. So if you're a single woman and you've got over, I don't know, 80 million in the bank, give me a call. What's up? So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Remember to support the Patriots Prayer Network. If you're watching this on Rumble, please hit like, share it with everybody you know. Again, the more people that watch us and the more people that follow us, the bigger our voice gets. And that's just not for me, it's for the whole network. The bigger our voice gets, the harder it is for them to ignore us. We carry more weight, and that's the goal. I think that's all I got. Again, thanks for hanging out. And I will see you next Sunday at 7. Oh, that's Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah, I'll be on next Sunday, and I don't expect many of you will be here because family will still be in town. You'll still have the food coma from the 30 pounds of turkey we're all going to eat. So I understand you can't make it next Sunday, but I'll be here. So if you can jump on. We'll talk turkey. Oh, before I go, please keep this in mind. Thanksgiving is coming up Thursdays. Please spend time with your family. Enjoy it. Don't talk politics. Watch football. Go throw the ball around with your nieces and nephews and your kids. Drink some beers with your father, your grandfather. Just hang out. Enjoy each other's company. Doesn't have to be about politics. It really doesn't. It shouldn't be. It's a family holiday. Enjoy your family. And please keep in mind, nobody cares what you eat. Don't take pictures of your plate and put it on Facebook. Nobody wants to see that. Turkey is turkey. Enjoy it. Stay off Facebook. Don't post pictures of your food. it's not important to us. If we want to know, we'll ask you. And if we don't ask, don't post. Really. Eat turkey, drink beer, drink wine, drink soda, have fun, enjoy your family, watch football, have a good time. Don't bring up politics. Don't even think about this show. Don't think about anything other than, hey, those deviled eggs are really good. I think I want to get another. Again, I'm Seth Eisenberg with the Conservative Corner. Thanks for hanging out with me this evening. Have a great, awesome, wonderful Thanksgiving. And I will see you next Sunday.